Speaking of Iran, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, Iran's leader, is to speak at the Assembly, the UN General Assembly, this Wednesday. And they're saying a new walkout could be predicted if the Iranian leader repeats one of his toxic remarks about Israel. And I know that you wrote an article called "Let Iran Have Its Nuclear Technology," where you said that if Israel were to strike at Iran, it would be a monumental mistake, an invitation to disaster. And you also said that there is a moment where we could hope for a negotiated peace, but that is just wishful thinking. Yet you do say that Iran should have a nuclear technology. Yeah. So can you tell me why you would hope for peace, but it'd be okay if it would have nuclear weapons?
Well, you look at the problem from Iran's side. Why do they want nuclear technology? Iran wants nuclear technology because, in my opinion, after the 1979 Iraq-Iran war, which lasted 8 years, in which they lost 500,000 men, the Iranians swore they would never let themselves fall into that position again. They want nuclear technology to defend themselves rather than to attack. They know fully well that. Let's look at the logistics of having nuclear weapons. Let's assume they develop the nuclear weapons. Let's assume they have the capability of delivering those weapons. What are the maximum number of warheads they could have in the foreseeable future, the next 10, 15 years? 12 missiles, 15 missiles, 100 missiles? What are they going to do with them? When you think that the United States has over 300 missiles, 2,000 missiles, France has about 350, Britain has 300. Altogether, there are thousands of nuclear warheads that would erase Iran off the map within minutes if it was to deploy nuclear weapons against Israel. So I think it's wrong to say that Iran will use its nuclear weapons. It's not going to use it.
But Israel calls it a threat to its very existence and is very adamant about a possible attack. And how do you explain that Netanyahu and Obama, who have had constant divisions over this subject, are not even meeting when they're both going to be in New York? I mean, there's something there.
There is.
That's not working out.
Absolutely. It's also, as I said, it's normal for Iran to want them. It's also normal for Israel to not want Iran to have them. Israel has nuclear weapons. Why aren't we making any noise about Israel's nuclear weapons?
Why aren't we making any noise about Israel having any nuclear weapons?
Because it's a non-issue. Israel will not discuss the issue with anybody, including with the United States. For years, they even ignored the fact that they had them. They wouldn't even acknowledge the fact that they had them. But the fact is they do have them. And are they going to deploy them? I don't think so, but it gives them a sense of security that they can fall back on. And I think Iran would be very similar, that they would have a sense of security that they could fall on in case they feel threatened. And if we know that Iran has nuclear weapons, Israel is unlikely to attack Iran.
I have a question that I've asked beforehand, and everybody's answered me with the same prediction. Do you believe that Israel is going to attack Iran?
I would like to hope they wouldn't, because it would be a total disaster. Look at what happened as a result of this film that we were talking about. Multiply that a millionfold, and this is what would happen if Israel was to attack Iran with nuclear missiles. Was to attack Iran regardlessly. It would be 100 times worse.
And so a negotiated peace is off the table. You don't think that's even possible?
Impossible is a very difficult word to use, but I remain the perpetual optimist. I hope that at the end of the day, and I don't know when that day is, there will be peace in the Middle East. But I was often asked when I thought this would happen, and my answer has always been that peace would become possible only when the protagonists involved in the conflict would develop more love for their children than hate for their enemies.